Good evening. I'm going to call this a meeting of the Powhatan County School Board to order. This is our organizational meeting at the beginning of the year where we elect.
As long as the microphone's still working.
I know. I only get to do this once a year. You would think that it would work. There we
Here we
go.
are. Thank you.
Where we elect new leadership on the Powhatan County School Board. To begin this, I have the honor of asking for nominations for the school board chairman. Are there any nominations for school board chairman?
Dr. Jones, I'd like to nominate Joe Walters as chairman of the school board.
Thank you. I have a nomination for Mr. Joe Walters as chairman. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Emel. Any other nominations at this time? Okay, we have a nomination and a second for Mr. Joe Walters as school board chairman for the 2018 calendar year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
It's back to you.
All right, thank you, sir, and thank you to the members of the school board. I appreciate your support and your vote. The next item on our agenda is the election of the school board vice chairman. Is there a nomination for vice chairman of the Powhatan County School Board?
Mr. Chairman, I would nominate Ms. Valerie Ayers as vice chairman.
We have a nomination. Is there, I guess we need a second for the nomination. We do need a second for the nomination. Is there a second to Mr. Kunka's nomination of Ms. Ayers as vice chairman of the school board?
I will second that nomination.
We have a nomination and a second. Are there any other nominations for vice chairman of the Powhatan County School Board? Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor of Mr. Kunka's nomination of Ms. Valerie Ayers to serve as vice chairman of the Powhatan County School Board for the 2018 calendar year, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all.
All right, the next item on our agenda is Dr. Jones's. This is your designee, sir.
Yes, we are looking for approval of designees. These are individuals to serve in my absence and to sign documents and reports for the Virginia Department of Education. Mr. Larry Johns, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Business Operations, Dr. Tracy Alejandro, who is our Assistant Superintendent of Instruction, and Dr. Cheryl Thomas, Director of Elementary Ed, are put forth as nominees for Superintendent's designee.
Is there a motion to approve Dr. Jones's designees as presented?
So moved.
Ms. Ayers has made a motion to approve them. Is there a second to Ms. Ayers' motion?
Second.
Mr. Kunka seconded the motion. All in favor of Dr. Jones's designees, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries 5-0. Dr. Jones.
Thank you. The next approval is being sought for school board clerk and deputy clerks. I recommend the following staff serve as school board clerk and deputy clerk with the compensation listed below. Michelle Wilson is school board clerk, and Dorothy Tribble and Donna Horn as school board deputies. Mrs. Wilson's compensation is listed on the boilerplate, and compensation for the deputies, if they are asked to serve in this capacity, will be based on an hourly rate for the meetings that they attend.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the nominations for school board clerk and deputy clerk.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the presented school board clerk and deputy clerks, respond with aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is, Dr. Jones, if you want to walk us through this item.
Sure. The next item is school board meeting dates, locations, and times. We have the year schedule of our workshops and meetings listed here for your approval, along with the times and the locations.
All right. Is there any discussion regarding these dates and times as presented or meeting locations? Questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, is there a motion regarding the presented dates, locations, and times for the 2018 school board meetings?
So moved. Think so.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Before we vote, has everyone had a chance to look through these? All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, respond with aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. Takes us to the roll call. Ms. Wilson, if you'll please note for the minutes that all school board members are present this evening, along with our student liaison, Ms. Brindley, and our superintendent, Dr. Jones. I would ask if Mr. Cole would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, and if Mr. Kunkel would lead us in an invocation. If you would, please stand.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Lord, we ask that you be with us as we start this new year to publicly conduct the business of Powhatan County Schools. Please guide us in our deliberations so that we may make the best decisions in the interest of the students, the staff, and the parents and citizens of Powhatan County. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the December 4th joint special meeting with the Board of Supervisors and the school board, the December 12th school board meeting. I believe that's the workshop and the meeting itself.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move to approve the agenda prior to the minutes.
You are correct, sir, and I apologize. So going back to that item, Mr. Kunkel has moved to approve the agenda. Is there a second to Mr. Kunkel's motion?
Second.
Have a second to the motion. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. That does take us to the approval of the minutes. We have minutes from December 4th, the joint special meeting, and also from December 12th, the workshop and the regular meeting. To my recollection, all board members were present. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Kunkel seconds Ms. Emel's motion. All in favor of approving the minutes as presented, so respond with aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Review of bill and receipts. Any questions for Dr. Jones regarding the bills and receipts presented this evening? All right, motion to approve those as presented. No motions required. Takes us to our first public comment period of the evening for our school board meeting. This period provides an opportunity for individuals or delegations wishing to comment publicly to the board to do so. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per individual and 5 minutes per group, with a total time limit of 30 minutes. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please identify yourself by name to the board. A public comment period is not intended. Public comment period is intended to provide an opportunity for the public to present issues or topics to the board. We would ask that you address your comments to the board as a whole. Public comment period is open.
Hi, my name is Joni Peck. I live at 2030 Fairlane Drive, Powhatan, Virginia. I am the mom of a 9th grader at Powhatan High School. I also have a daughter who went through the Powhatan school system and has been graduated for 6 years. Both of my children have been involved in the music band program, and I am here to ask that you please support the band program and the choral program and the music and arts at our schools. It is integral for every child to be able to have the opportunity to thrive under our teachers. My opinion is that our teachers need more support in the music program. They need more staffing. I know personally my daughter was unable to participate in a choral program of the chamber this year because it was not offered, and she was very disappointed in that. She is a member of the marching band and the concert band and works very, very hard to pursue music in her day. And I feel like it is very important for all of our children. It doesn't matter if they're gifted musicians. It doesn't matter if they just want to learn how to play an instrument or want to sing a song. I think it's very, very vital for brain development, for them to be able to flourish in all aspects of their education. And I would please ask you that you support the music and arts program here in Powhatan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, Ms. Peck?
How do you do? My name is Franklin Wood. I live at 5635 Cartersville Road, and I have a son in 10th grade and one in 8th grade. And I am also coming to speak on behalf and for the band and music department. My 10th grader started out in 6th grade, and I remember the first music concert we went to. It was a squeaky note, and it was a little rough on the ears. But by the end of the year, I was amazed with what they could do with that piece of music. They played it flawlessly. Over the course of his going from 6th grade to 10th grade, I've watched the band and music department grow and increase in size and complexity. It needs our focus, our attention. It is a true jewel for the public school, the Powhatan Public School. I can assure you, this doesn't exist at Collegiate, where I went. It's not there. So please give it the resources and the focus that it deserves. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other speakers?
My name is Amy Wood. I reside at 5635 Cartersville Road. And as you can tell, I'm a parent of a 10th grader and an 8th grader. We just wanted to come tonight to let you know about our support for the band program. I have watched 6 years of concerts, and like my husband said, it's amazing what they take. These kids, most of them have never played a note before. Ours definitely did not get this from us. But the department has taken them all the way up to where they're proud of what they're doing. I hope each of you get to go to a concert. It is amazing not only to enjoy the music, but to watch the way they get the entire group to come together as almost like a team. They are a team. They have such respect for their teachers while they're in the band. That, to me, is just an amazing thing to watch. So I would like you to really think hard about funding for the band. They have grown. They need some more help. It's time to let them do what they can do with all the support that you could possibly give them. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers for our first public comment period? Any other speakers? All right, seeing no further movement, I'll bring the public comment period to a close. Dr. Jones, I believe we have a recognition this evening.
We do. Ironically, we have a recognition for one of our music students. If you could join me down on the floor, we'd love to have you join us in recognizing a very deserving student musician.
Good evening. This evening, we'd like to recognize Joshua Shepard. I'll tell you a little bit about him before I ask him to come down and shake a bunch of hands. The U.S. Army All-American Bowl is the premier high school football game in the nation. Produced by All-American Games, this bowl features the nation's top high school senior football players and marching musicians. A student selected as one of the 125 U.S. Army All-American Marching Band members will receive an all-expenses-paid trip to San Antonio, Texas, to march in the halftime performance of the All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome. In order to be selected for this ensemble, students had to be first nominated by their band director and then to submit an audition video of a performance of the required repertoire for their respective instruments. The USAAAMB provides an experience that students will never forget and teaches valuable 21st century skills like leadership, teamwork, and critical thinking. Josh performed during halftime on January 6, 2018 in San Antonio, Texas. And if you missed it, there are highlights on Twitter I know that the band has posted, so you can catch those. Josh participates in all aspects of the Powhatan Band program as a member of the wind ensemble, jazz band, percussion ensemble, indoor drumline, and marching band. He also takes a few regular classes as well. Serving as battery captain in indoor drumline and marching band. Josh will attend George Mason University next year to study music education. Excellent. Additionally, Josh is a member of the National Honor Society. Mr. Nicholas Sneed, Director of Bands, was selected and participated in the Band Directors Academy to work with some of the leading music education professionals in the world. Congratulations to them both, and come on down to be recognized.
All right, that takes us to the first item on our consent agenda. It's your principal's reports. Dr. Jones, you want to walk us through the consent agenda if there are questions or comments from the board?
Sure. So on the consent agenda, which we're looking for approval tonight, we have the principal's report, the monthly financial report that ended in December 31st, CIP financial report on the projects that we're currently working on with the CIP, school board facility use report. There are overnight field trips that are looking for approval, the personnel docket and addendum that we talked about in closed session. So we are asking for approval of those consent agenda items, and I'm happy to answer any questions on any of those.
All right, any questions or comments about these items? If there are not, we will take a motion to approve them in a block.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second to Mr. Cole's motion?
Second.
Have a second to the motion. All in favor of approving all of the items on the consent agenda, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Jones, that takes you to the superintendent's report.
Yes, sir. The first item is the capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2019 through 2023. This is a document that we reviewed in December at our December meeting, and we are looking for approval of this CIP at this point. We included in this the information that we have on repurposing of Pocahontas Middle School per our discussions about future use of that program, of that school, at least immediate future use. And we're looking for approval, and then we will discuss this with the Board of Supervisors at our joint meeting in March.
All right, so we have reviewed and discussed this item, I believe, at our December meeting, as Dr. Jones indicated. Is there further discussion this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the capital improvements plan for 2019 to 2023.
Is there a second to Ms. Emil's motion?
Second.
Mr. Kunka has seconded Ms. Emil's motion. All in favor of approving the capital improvements plan for fiscal years 2019 through 2023, respond with aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Jones?
Thank you, sir. The next item is another item that the board saw back in December for information. and that is revising policy JR to update to include guidelines and process for requesting out-of-zone attendance. We did make a change in this policy based on board feedback at our December meeting, as I believe it was Mr. Walters pointed out, that daycare may be a legal term in the Code of Virginia, or at least legally in Virginia, there is a difference between daycare and in-home care. So we've changed the language in that first bullet on page 1 of that document to say in-home before or after-school care provided in the requested school zone would be one of the circumstances that a parent may request a variance. It then goes on to list daycares that don't service the home school or documented hardship. So we're hopeful this language will help delineate that and also not confine the in-home care just to in-home care for family, but any in-home before or after-school care.
Okay. Any questions from the board or comments?
Just the comment is that this obviously is going to be a fairly important policy as we move forward with the redistricting and elementary level. And I do like the change that we made, and I appreciate going back to and revising that, because it does, I do think it opens it up and covers more ground than it did in the previous version. So thank you for doing that, but like I say, this is going to be a policy that lots of folks will be going to be looking at in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Cole. Any other questions or comments? I have one, and this is just for me, but on the form that you've produced, this JCF1, you reference knowingly providing false information on this form that constitutes a misdemeanor under Virginia law. What is that misdemeanor?
I think it's just falsification of a
Legal document?
legal document.
Okay, okay. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the revised school board policy JC, school attendance areas, and JCF1, school board variance request form.
All right, have a motion. Is there a second to Ms. Emel's motion?
Second.
Have a second. Mr. Kunka seconds the motion. All in favor of the motion as presented by Ms. Emel, respond with aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Takes you to the next item, Dr. Jones.
Thank you very much. And this is another item that was discussed at our December meeting, and this is transition guidelines for elementary attendance realignment. This document is the same that you saw in December. We did discuss and review and consider expanding beyond the current fourth graders that may be given the capability of staying at their current home school. And in discussions with staff, transportation, we felt like, and considering the fact that we didn't allow any students to stay with the last time we redistricted when Flat Rock opened, we thought that fifth grade was the logical place to end this accommodation. The concerns were staffing of the school, particularly in the first year, and being able to do that with having a larger number of students that would have the ability to stay in their home school, parent pickup and drop-off if more students are being transported by their parents as a result of these accommodations, that it would increase what is already can be troublesome in terms of parent drop-off and pickup, and just the need for the schools to experience the benefits of the redistricting in the short term in terms of providing space. So it's our recommendation as staff that we move forward with this as it's currently written, with fifth grade or current fourth grade students, next year's fifth grade students being given the option of remaining at their current home school for 2018-2019, as long as parents provide transportation.
Is there discussion?
No real discussion. I
Mr.
just
Kunkel.
want to thank Dr. Jones and the staff for looking at that option. And I believe I commented at the last meeting that this is a process that is not going to sit well with everybody in the county, and I understand we have to balance the needs of trying to get the numbers improved in the schools that need it, and I understand fully the desire of the staff to keep the cutoff point at the 5th grade, so, but I do want to thank them for looking at the option to expand it.
Any other discussion or comments? I will just offer the comments that I had several parents express to me that attended that meeting that they supported that idea, the idea that you presented, Mr. Kunkel, about expanding that beyond the rising fifth graders, and that would have addressed several of the concerns that were discussed in the community. So I appreciate the fact that we looked at the issue. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Any further comment or discussion?
Just, I guess, to say that this is a process that as Mr. Kunkel alluded to, is not going to be comfortable for everybody. There's change involved in it, and whenever there is change, there is discomfort. But at the same time, you know, we have 3 very good elementary schools with facilities that are very good at each of those campuses. And I hope that parents that are affected, you know, certainly let your feelings be known, but I hope that once we move forward, that you'll move forward with enthusiasm and with support for that new school. Certainly, your child is going to be influenced by how you portray that move and by how you react to that move. And I hope that, like I say, I hope that we'll move forward together with this, and that it'll be a good year for each of those students that has to move next year. There are new opportunities when you move, and I hope that you'll embrace those new opportunities.
Any further comment or discussion?
I just had one comment
Ms. Ayers.
that people seem to think that we're doing a disservice to the students. Some parents have said that. And I truly believe, after having worked at Powhatan Elementary School when it was over capacity by, Ms. Steele would know, hundreds of students, it was not ideal for the students. It wasn't ideal for anybody. It was bad for the students. It was bad for the staff. You know, we had classrooms on the stage. We tutored kids in closets. It's awful. It's a terrible situation for one school to be so overextended with children and have other schools that don't, have plenty of capacity. So I truly believe, from my past experience, that we're doing what's best for the children and for the schools. So that's my only comment.
I would just offer one additional comment, in that I think it actually speaks to the quality of the staff that we have at these schools, the fact that the parents have developed such a level of trust and a relationship with our staff, our faculty, and our administration, that they so strongly feel that they don't want to leave a particular school. I've not had a single person talk to me about them not wanting to go to another school because they don't like that school or that staff. It's the relationship and rapport that they develop with people that they become very, very comfortable with over time. It's principals, it's teachers, it's our staff, it's our cafeteria workers, it's everybody, and they consider them family, and they feel that they're losing members of their family, and it's feels a little like a grieving process almost, the fact that we're talking about this. So I think that's part of what I hear people trying to deal with, and I think that they're just trying to feel like their voices, their concerns are being at least considered and addressed and properly reviewed, and I think that's what you did in the interim, I believe, and we as a school system considered if it was in fact possible. So I appreciate that taking place. All right, any further comment or discussion? All right, hearing none, is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Jones?
The next item is student discipline case 17-1802. I believe a board member has a motion related to that case.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in the case of student discipline case 1718-02, the motion is for expulsion.
Is there a second to Mr. Kunkel's motion?
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Kunkel's made a motion, Mr. Cole has seconded the motion. All in favor of Mr. Kunkel's motion regarding student discipline case 1718-02? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Takes us to our items for discussion. And unless there's objection, we'll do the next steps and follow up along with comments at the same time. And Ms. Brindley, we'll give you the opportunity to start this off if you're ready.
I know we've had a nice long break. On January 18th, I know there is an event, and it's a new event that is going to be annual. It's called the Mr. Powhatan pageant, and it supports the fight against cancer. It's $5 to come and watch, and it's a whole bunch of guys have come together and they've made this show for you. And I think it'll be really fascinating to see. And I'm excited for it because I'm going to go. I'm a part of that club. So, and then basketball season is just kicked into gear. I think they're doing pretty good. I haven't really checked lately. And other than that, I'm just really ready to get back to school.
I bet you are. I've got a few children in my house that feel the same way.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Kunkel, are you ready, sir?
Yes, I wanted to thank the people who spoke to the board, Ms. Peck and Mr. and Mrs. Wood, about their concerns and support of the band and music and arts. And I want to congratulate Mr. Walters again on another year of chairmanship. And to balance your youth and inexperience, I chose the highly qualified and tenured Ms. Ayers
And
to help
old.
you
He's
out.
saying I'm old.
I'm sorry, no,
It's okay.
highly qualified, highly qualified.
I like
Let's just
that
leave it
youth
at
part.
that.
Keep saying
Old is
that.
fine.
And I think we're going to have a great 2018 under your leadership, both of you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Ayers.
Jim always makes me laugh with his analogies of me. Welcome back to a new year, and like always, it's going to be a great year, better than the one before. We always pull that off, so thank you to everybody that worked so hard to make that happen. Just a reminder that the Martin Luther King breakfast is this coming Monday at 8 a.m. at Powhatan High School this year, which is a good thing. It's a very exciting thing. So hope people will come out for that. Thank my fellow board members for acknowledging that I'm old and nominating me for vice chair again. And it's an honor to serve, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Emel.
Well, I'm glad you brought up about the breakfast, the MLK Junior Youth Breakfast. It is at the high school this year. We did have a meeting, a committee meeting, and they reported, and maybe our student liaison as well as our other board members can help. They gave away, or are giving away, 2,500 scholarships. And, but they told me that there were no Powhatan High School applicants that applied. And I am just wondering why that is, and they are too. So if anybody has ideas or thoughts to share now or later,
Yeah, I can give some information. I know that there were at least 2 students that did come through the application process. I know Dr. Massa wrote a recommendation for one of those students, but then the application was being asked, the completed applications were being asked to be dropped off at, I believe, Little Zion Church. So we weren't in control of the process in terms of who receives the app, or when the applications are turned in. So we are in the process of following up with those students that we know picked up applications to see what happened.
Okay.
My understanding from talking to Ms. Gray is that they've already made a decision for next year, but we will certainly make every effort to ensure that the word gets out and to encourage people to apply for next year, because it's a very generous scholarship, and we want to make sure our students are taking advantage of those opportunities.
okay, good, thank you. I wanted that the same
Yep.
too, because that is a lot of money, and they do work hard to get that.
Absolutely.
Also, sorry.
Go ahead.
Another thing is, when I looked at that application, but by the time I did it, I started doing it, it was already time, and but like it wasn't broadcasted. No one knew. Like a lot of the scholarships that are being given, they're not like, I mean, it would be nice to have them like posted around the school or something so we can see where they are, like, and what their deadline is, because a lot of students forget because they're applying for colleges instead of applications for scholarships.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good feedback.
Okay, yes, thank you, because we want to find out so we can do better, so
Yep.
we can help as many people as we can. Thank you, Ms. Brindley. And I want to also thank the parents that spoke about the music program. I had the opportunity to go to the choral concert because finally, one of my children is in the music program, and she was in the 6th grade choral concert. And I have to say, I thought that was really ambitious before I went, for the director to even, want to put a concert on so quickly. But, I went, and boy, were we ever surprised that she pulled it all together, and they sang beautifully. And my daughter wanted to stay for the 7th and 8th graders who sang later. It was that good. And whatever it is that our music and choral department does to get the kids enthused is working. And I'm kind of concerned. Are we losing some money there in the music department, or they're just telling us their concerns today?
I think I'll certainly follow up with the music teachers to see if there are staffing needs. We're getting ready to enter the new scheduling process, and we'll certainly look at
for
numbers of
classes.
students that are signing up for classes. What we do, staffing is always derived from student interest. So if there are students in a class, then we'll do every effort that we can to maximize making that class and hiring the staff that we need. If we need to hire additional staff for that class, I know in the past, one of the things that we've had to look at just from economy standpoint is look at the numbers of students that are signing up for a class. A class with 4 or 5 students, we can't afford to offer because it would take up a whole teaching section with a small numbers of students. So it's always a balancing act when you're doing that. I know that the music teachers will work hard to go out and recruit students and make sure that students know about the great program and they're signing up for it. And we'll take a look at those numbers, and where the student interest is, we'll make sure that's where the staff is to meet that interest.
Thank you. And I also want to say, I like how they're doing it at the middle school level. Like Miss Witt is my daughter's choral teacher, and she comes home and says, well, she has to go hurry quick to the high school. And the idea being that she's starting them, and so that hopefully that when they get to the high school, they will continue. And I just thank you for that. I'm glad I get to be part of the music program now with at least one child. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Emel. Mr. Cole?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got 2 Boy Scouts back here in the back today. Would you guys mind standing up and just introducing yourselves from your seats right there and tell us just briefly why you're here? I'm putting you on the spot, but you're Boy Scouts, you're supposed to be prepared, right?
And are you working on your citizenship and the community merit badge? There you go.
Hello, I'm Ricky, this is Michael, and I'm here for my 832, and right now I'm working on my citizenship as a community merit badge, and I'm taking notes. So, it's one of the requirements for this winter camp that I'm going to this weekend, so wish me luck.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. I think you deserve a round of applause.
Yeah.
I agree.
We've got another Boy Scout.
Hello, my name is Michael Leonard. I'm from 82867. I'm not working on my exact merit badge, but I'm working on the communications merit badge. This is one of the requirements for the one who's doing so.
Thank you very much.
You are both
Good
most
job.
welcome, and appreciate Mr. Cole recognizing you tonight. I had the pleasure to coach Ricky in football, and it's nice to see you here this evening, and your mom, and good luck on your merit badge. I've been the counselor on that merit badge a couple times, so good luck.
And not to embarrass them, but I know them and their mothers from the Powhatan Play Group.
They will ever come back to a school board.
Oh,
meeting.
stop.
All right. Mr. Cole, were you finished, sir?
Not quite.
All right, sir.
I did want to compliment the schools and all the work that you did before Christmas and even back into November to support our community with all the charity events and all the donations that you made. Each year, I'm amazed at what our student body does, and I think, you know, it's one of those things we teach informally, but boy, is it an important lesson to teach about sharing with what you have with other people. So I really do commend the staff and commend the students on the efforts that they made, and thank you for doing that. And just an observation, you know, we're about a semester into a Chromebook initiative, and from my perspective, no news is good news. I think it's been a very good and very smooth rollout, and I certainly, you know, I see Dr. Alejandra knocking on her thing over there, but to this point, it's gone very, very well, and I think, once again, people need to be commended for that, because it doesn't always happen that way, and it means people did a lot of work beforehand and are doing a lot of work now to keep it going. So thanks for that. And like Ms. Ayers said, Happy New Year, and I hope it is a good spring for everybody from now until June.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so I wanted to start off first by simply saying that I sincerely appreciate the support of the school board in voting for me to serve another term as chairman. I truly appreciate that. It has been an honor to serve last year. It was quite a educational experience for me. I sincerely appreciate Mr. Kunka describing me as youthful. Not many people do that anymore, so thank you. That's appreciated as well. And I think that this is going to be a very exciting year. We have the middle school that we will be working on. We have a transportation facility that is doing very nicely. We have our water tower. We have a great school year planned with our students, with our staff, faculty, with our staff. It's going to be an exciting year for the Powhatan County Public Schools, and I just really appreciate being a part of that. So appreciate this opportunity. I would offer just a couple, I guess, follow-ups. We talked about tuition reimbursement a little bit in our workshop for teachers, particularly as it relates to teachers that wanted certification with one program we discussed, but I suppose it's applicable to any sort of program like that. But if we could take a look at the amount that we offer and how that compares to some other school districts that are our neighbors and our peers, I think I heard the amount of $800 per year. And how does that compare to others? Because I know that oftentimes, particularly for teachers that have requirements that want to pursue graduate degrees or postgraduate degrees, $800, my recollection, it's been a while since I was in graduate school, but my recollection is that that won't completely pay for an entire course. And how do we compare to our peers in terms of using that as a retention tool?
Right. Ms. Horn may be able to give some more specifics off the top of our head, but I know that we stack up pretty good.
Okay.
During the recession, that was one of the things that a lot of school districts cut to save money, was tuition reimbursement. Powhatan made a commitment to keep it. I know there are a couple districts where it may be $1,000, but $800, we're ballpark. We also work hard with our local colleges and universities to try to offer classes here in our facilities that may be less expensive than if they travel down to Longwood or VCU or somewhere else at a discounted rate. So we're always looking for ways to make it more attractive. We've offered classes here from VCU at a very attractive rate in the past. So, but we can certainly look at that as part of the budget process and do another review of how we stack up with our neighbors.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you, sir. And the only other follow-up I had, and actually, Ms. Brindley, this is for you, if you don't mind. I would ask you to think a little bit about how can we better share information with students, both at the high school and in other schools as well. Maybe you could sit down and talk to Dr. Massa a little bit about some of those ideas. You probably and certainly have a unique perspective that's different than any of us sitting up here, and we would value your input on those ideas. How do we get that information to the students in the best way possible? Okay?
I know I check Schoology all the time. That is my go-to app for
All
school. And I don't see a lot of stuff posted on it, but when I do, I make sure to read it.
Well, I'm not putting you on the spot right now. You don't have to do it
Well,
right now. But,
like, this
that's
is all the
one
stuff
idea.
that I do. I don't
Okay.
know about other like when I talk to other students, they're like, "Oh, did you see that on Schoology?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." That's the one thing that I think has been a very beneficial thing since it's come to Powhatan. So I encourage y'all to keep using it, especially like the teachers.
Great.
Okay, good feedback. And think about if there are any other ways too, okay? And that sort of wraps mine up. Dr. Jones, I'll take it to you for your superintendent's comments.
Sure. First off, I want to, I know we've had some unfortunate weather, or for some people it's been fortunate, but it's getting to the point where it's unfortunate. But I wanted to publicly thank Mr. Johns, Chris Gwaltney, our Director of Transportation, Brian Bartlett, our bus garage supervisor, and some other staff that I know get up at ungodly hours to drive our roads in the dark and check conditions when we have inclement weather. It's a thankless job. I know that nobody dislikes snow days more than they do, but they do a great job and always provide us with timely information. This morning was a unique situation, but I thought, handled it very well. And I just wanted to thank Larry, and Chris and Brian aren't here, but in their absence, I wanted to thank them for the work that they do to make sure we have information. We have a good relationship with the Sheriff's Department, who provides us information as well, so that we can make sure our students and staff are safe on days like this morning that can be pretty treacherous. So I wanted to thank them. I'm looking forward to coming back on time tomorrow, and to hopefully getting back into a routine so that we can finish off the first semester on a strong note and get back to solid teaching and learning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jones. All right, so that takes us to our second public comment period of the evening. We sincerely appreciate the three speakers earlier in the evening who took advantage of the public comment period. This is the second of those periods. This period provides an opportunity for individuals or delegations wishing to comment publicly to the board to do so. For this second public comment period, there is a time limit of 1 minute per individual and 3 minutes per group. There is a 15-minute total time limit. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please identify yourself by name to the board. And as always, we would ask that you direct your comments to the board as a whole.
Good evening, Nicholas Sneed, 3710 Maidens Road. As you know, I'm the Director of Bands at Powhatan High School. I'm not here to talk about band-related things this evening. However, I would like to recognize those students who are Scouts, and Mr. Walters, you know, having helped me become an Eagle Scout, they're members of the band, as well as Josh in the back. This evening, I stand before you as the Powhatan County Education Association President, or PCEA. We represent over 117 of the Powhatan County Public School employees. We're going to be working with you this upcoming year and talking about budget and talking about just the climate of the schools, as well as talking about our health insurance premiums as they have started to go up. So that has been a #1 concern for many of our members, and I hope that you will get ready to address their concerns, because this is becoming something that we don't want to lose any of our staff members. We want to keep them in Powhatan. We were ranked one of the best school divisions in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and certainly in this area, and we want to make sure that all of our staff members have a great place here in Powhatan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sneed. Any other speakers for our public comment period? Any other speakers? All right, seeing no further movement, I'll bring to a close the second public comment period. The next item on our agenda for the evening, folks, is an adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Ms. Emel has made a motion excitedly that we adjourn. Is there a second to her motion?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor of the motion, respond with aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Have a